The glow of the setting sun turned the sky a fiery orange as I pulled up to the Pinewood Motel. After countless hours on the road, exhaustion was starting to win out over my desire to keep pushing. My eyes ached, fighting back the sting of sleep deprivation. Tonight, any bed would do, even one in a place like this. It was one of those motels that just screamed transient. Built in an era long past, the aging two-story building hunched under faded paint and flickering neon lights. An old Ford truck chugged smoke lazily from its space. I hoped its owner was somewhere inside and not out cold over the steering wheel. Still, something in me said it was better to stop here, rest even a few hours rather than risk falling asleep at the wheel. With a stretch and a deep breath, I pushed open the worn door of the office. I wasn't greeted by the expected jingle of an old bell, but instead the bored face of a young man flipping through worn-back issues of car magazines. The exchange was silent, efficient. Driver's license, faded credit card, room key. It all happened in a daze of fatigue that even the pungent smell of cheap air freshener couldn't cut through. Room 23 was like a set from an old 70s movie. Musty bedspread, framed watercolor landscapes hung haphazardly over cracked walls, and an ancient box television bolted precariously on a tilting stand. It wouldn't win any awards, but it was clean. Or as clean as I was going to get in a place like this. A hot shower did wonders to chip away at the road grime clinging to my bones. With fresh clothes and a hint of energy restored, I debated getting dinner on the road after all. Something was telling me maybe just a quick check out and back behind the wheel wouldn't be such a bad call. Then laziness or exhaustion masking itself as wisdom won out. Tomorrow morning, after some real sleep, the road would seem fresh again. Sleep came surprisingly easy in the lumpy bed, the drone of the air conditioner masking the occasional rumble of a passing car. That is, until I was jolted awake by a knock at the door. Dawn hadn't quite broken yet, the sky outside still washed in an inky indigo. Groaning, I fumbled for a bedside lamp, wondering who the heck could be awake and visiting at this ungodly hour. Through bleary eyes, I stumbled across the worn carpet and opened the door a crack. "Room service," a woman's voice chirped. I peered down the half-illuminated dim corridor, heart thumping. She wasn't dressed like any hotel staff I'd ever seen. Black slacks, ill-fitting white blouse, hair pulled back in a tight, no-nonsense bun. Yet there the silver cart and its white tablecloth sat before my door, piled with what smelled like breakfast. I didn't order anything," I mumbled, confusion overriding my weariness. "But breakfast is complimentary," she replied, her voice matter-of-fact as she wheeled the cart into the room with surprising vigor. In the soft yellow light from the doorway, I noticed her eyes. There was something off about them, a flatness that made an unfamiliar chill race down my spine. She began buzzing around the room, moving with uncanny efficiency. Changing out towels, emptying the dustbin, the rustling of plastic and clatter of porcelain filling the tense silence. The bed looks fine," I stammered, unsure why I couldn't muster the strength to get her to leave. "Standard service," she mumbled without looking up from her task, as if a script was playing in her head, compliments of Pinewood. My insides twisted. Why hadn't the guy at the desk said anything about breakfast service? Has fatigue simply muddled my memory? Then, as quickly as the questions came, I dismissed them. I needed to get back on the road, and there was nothing stopping me from just leaving. The room began to feel smaller, tighter with her brisk presence. She spoke again, breaking the eerie quiet. "Looks like another long drive coming up." Something in her tone made my stomach drop. Her words felt less like small talk, more like an observation, a personal comment. It felt like she knew more about me than a room service lady had any reason to. "How do you?" I started, voice shaking slightly, unable to finish the question. She turned then, her gaze finally connecting with mine. Those strange, lifeless eyes bore into me for a moment too long. A sly smile touched the corner of her thin lips. "Enjoy your stay, sir. See you soon," she whispered, a touch of menace lingering in that last word. The soft click of the closing door sounded like a thunderclap. In a blur, I flung the door open, scanning the deserted hallway where moments before she had been. Nothing. As I stood there panting, heart still pounding, I caught a whiff of the sickly sweet air freshener and felt a wave of dizziness. I needed to get out of this place. Now. At the front desk, the same indifferent young man stood flipping through his magazine as if time hadn't passed since I checked in. "Leaving already?" he said, his tone disinterested. Ignoring his question, I almost shouted, "The room service lady, just now, where is she?" His eyebrows crinkled. "Lady? We don't do room service. I cover it on slow afternoons." It was my turn to go slack-jawed. "It's okay, sir," he shrugged, turning back to his magazine. "You just look real tired, probably imagined. You know it does happen." Something in the way he said it, though, made a shiver run down my spine. There was an awkward pause, and I couldn't get the image of her vacant eyes out of my head. "Look, sorry to bug you, but was there some kind of incident here recently? That woman just now." The guy looked up from his magazine, a hesitant flicker in his eyes. "It's probably nothing," he started, then sighed. "But yeah, a couple of weeks ago. Accident in the pool. Found this woman. Thing is, nobody around here remembers her. Can't figure out how she got on staff." His voice lowered. "The whole thing's just off." My stomach twisted. I knew right then I wasn't going to stick around to unpack that any further. I thanked him, almost stumbling out of the office. That sickly sweet air freshener seemed to linger, a constant reminder of something deeply wrong. It felt like all the air had been sucked out of the world, and as I packed my car in the cold dawn light, those dead eyes haunted me with an icy clarity. That wasn't a tired hallucination. I knew deep down that I'd caught a glimpse of something I wasn't supposed to see. Something far beyond any weird story that guy at the desk could imagine. Something chilling just beneath the surface. The Pinewood Motel wasn't just a stop along the road. It was a place to mark off my map, a place I'd never risk getting near again.